Good morning. Good morning. We welcome you to Empowering Women Through Jesus, and we pray that Sister Ruby's testimony can come into your hearts. To maybe encourage you or whatever her story may bring, but it is to glorify the Lord as always, right?
Yes,
Because that is His story, not ours.
Exactly. The one who put us in the positions to give it out.
Yeah, that's right. You can start.
All right. So pretty much, my testimony kind of starts from about, I would say 2 years now. 2 years back, I had the opportunity to go to school at a different state in Houston. So I was far from everybody. I was far from, I had no family really in Houston or anything like that. So,
isolation.
Yeah, complete isolation. But
that's how God works.
Oh yeah, I had a lot of people tell me that. But pretty much, when I went in, I went very motivated because it was something that I love to do. I was gonna work on cars. It was something that I was really excited about, really motivated, and it's something that I prayed for, and everything like that. So I was really excited, really motivated. But throughout my process there, I wasn't around the best influence or anything like that. So whenever I would like have a achievement or something, like get a good grade on a test or anything like that, I always had friends tell me, "Oh, well, you need to celebrate." I was like, "Well, okay, I'll celebrate." Yeah. But so I started to like celebrate with them. Having we would have parties at just my roommates. We would have a little party. Get the board games out and get the drinks out. And so we just started doing that. And I never really got into it like that because I knew it wasn't good for me. I was like, "Ooh, forgive me, this is not good."
Inside your heart, it was like, "This is not right."
Because I've never done it. I've never done anything like that. My parents always taught me better and everything, but because I was so alone and I had all this freedom, I kind of took advantage of it. I was able to grab a hold of it. And then I started to feel like maybe around like mid of the year, I started to feel really lonely. A lot of my past started to get to me, and everything was just starting to get to me to where I was like, whew, I was starting to get sad. And usually what I do when I get sad is I would usually just pray, and I'm just like, "God, give me peace," and my heart just, don't I'm an overthinker, so I'm like, don't let these thoughts get to me, because I'm like, they will get to me. And I was like, one moment I'm happy and the next I'm completely sad. So I was always praying. I was like, "God," and it got to I started to get into the habit to where I started, instead of with the celebration, instead of thanking God for it, I just started with like, "All right, I need to go get messed up and celebrate." So when it got to the point to where I was sad, instead of praying for peace and for all of that, I would just be like, "I need to go get messed up," to numb the feeling, because none of that really gets rid of the pain or anything like that. It just kind of numbs it for the moment, and you still remember. Like, I still remember those times when I was like messed up. I was still like, I was complaining to my roommates about everything that was happening to me. Like, my first 2 weeks in Houston, I got robbed like twice. My car got broken into twice.
Wow.
So I was like so upset about that. I was like, "Oh my God, they took my bag of coins." I was really mad about that. They took my favorite sweater, my earrings, everything. And so I was like really upset about that. And I remember the first time that I did get drunk, I was like telling my roommate, I'm like, "Oh my God, I got robbed. I can't believe this." I'm like, "Who's gonna rob a broke college student?"
Right.
So yeah, it's just, I got the habit of it, and then it came to a point to where I kind of just lost myself at that point, because I remember one night I was just like crying and crying. I was just so upset, and I was just like, it's not fair what happened to me. And I was just like, "You know what, all right, I want to feel a little bit better. I want to laugh. I can't laugh right now, so let me go get drunk to laugh." I'm like, I'm not gonna forget, but at least I'll feel better.
My mom said the temporary happiness is just for a little while, because you end up back to where you were.
Exactly. Yeah, I would wake up and even worse, because you have a hangover and things like that. It's just, it was horrible. It was really bad. And then it just, like, I knew what I was doing was bad. I would watch like online preachings and everything, and still try to be like, "Oh my God, forgive me, give me the strength." But I was just too, like, everybody around me was just, nobody was.
Yeah.
None of them were spiritual Christian or nothing. They were all, they believed in God, but they didn't follow Him. the way that I did.
The college life is hard. Like,
Yeah.
you have all kinds of, it's like a little bird, you say a little bird that come out of the cage, you know, and you got all this freedom, and like, you go crazy.
Yeah, you really do. You really do.
Yeah.
And that's one of my things my dad told me, like, don't be drinking, don't be smoking. And I was just like, Dad, I'm not gonna do that.
Like,
I'll probably
right?
Yeah, I'm like, I'll probably, I'll probably have a drink, but I'm not gonna get like that. Like, I promise y'all won't. And that well,
the first thing we do, right?
Yeah, honestly, like the first thing, that's one of the
Yeah.
first things that I did. I just fell into that temptation, and I was like, it's gonna be all right. I'm not gonna keep a habit of it until, well, I broke down. That's when I started to get the habit of it. And then I was still trying my best, I was like still trying to get right with God and be like, give me the strength, but I was just too weak. And then I came back because I ended up losing, like, I got so bad over there in Houston to where I lost complete motivation to go to school. So I would wake up and I'm just be like, you know what, I don't feel it today, I'm gonna just sleep. So I ended up failing like 3 courses, and because of my absences, so they ended up kicking me out and told me, you know what, take a break, and then in a month you can return. And that was the plan. I was like, okay, you know what, I'm like, dang, this kind of sucks. I was like, you know what, let me take this time to get myself together, go get me another job and keep busy, because right now I know that I'm still too weak to where I just want to sit in my sorrows, dwell in them, and just drink them and smoke them away.
Yeah.
And I was just like, you know what, let me not do this. I'm like, obviously it led me to no good. I'm like, I started so strong, so good, and ended up so, like, somewhere where I never thought I'd end up. So I was like, let me take this month and really get to it. But it was still a month of, I struggled that month as well. I did get a pretty good job, but it was a job that kind of was a remote job, so I controlled the hours and everything. So if I didn't feel like working that day, I was like, you know what, I had a good day working. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna sit back and I'm gonna have me a little day drink.
Oh,
day
drink.
Yes, and that's what I would do. I would just like, it would like, if I made a sale or something, I would just be like, you know what, that's my commission. I'm about to make a good paycheck off that one sale. I'm gonna take the next day, I'm gonna get off earlier, I'm gonna do something just so I can have a little celebration, another celebration.
Right.
And and then I'm actually ended up getting a new roommate, who she smokes weed, like crazy. She
More
like
temptation, right? Wow.
Yeah, like I already had a roommate who smoked weed, and she would hotbox the house, like, well, the whole apartment, like crazy. I was getting home from work and I'm like, Jesus.
Wow. On contact.
Yeah, and she would always be like, you want to hit? And I'm like, you know what? Nah, I'm like, I just drank, but I don't want to hit.
Yeah.
We would sometimes even sit in the balcony. I would just be there with my Modelos, and she would be there smoking, and she would always be like, you want to hit? And I'll be like, you know what? Nah, I'm going to just stick with this.
You left one at least, right? Like, you were out of that.
Yeah. Until this new roommate came, because, well, I kind of know the different smells of weed, so I kind of know what smells good and what isn't all that good. And well, her weed kind of smelled like it was a strong one, and I was just like, let me give it a try. I'm like, just give it a try. And she was like, all right, well, here you go. And just that one try, I almost every night she came home, I was like, y'all ready to roll up? She bought me like a bag of edibles. I would eat like two edibles a night sometimes, just to.
Them things are strong.
Oh yeah, they really are. They are. And
Yeah.
I was just bad. So I ended up quitting my other job. Ended up quitting it so I could just lay at home and just get high, like all day, just stay high. Because being sober was kind of bad for me, because I felt like it was like I was there, but I wasn't, like, I didn't want to be sober. It felt kind of lawish. I felt like it felt weird. I don't really know how to describe the feeling, but it was just like, it was a feeling that I didn't want to feel. Like, I didn't feel alive.
I
And I was just like,
understand. That happened when me and my husband got separated. Like, I went, everything you're talking about, that happened to me when my husband was gone. We were separated for almost a year, so I totally understand you.
yeah, it's just, and
influences.
Oh yeah, it got really, really bad. And then I got a notice from my apartment of an eviction because I wasn't attending school anymore because I got the apartment through the school. So they're like, yeah, we know that you're not going to school, so you need to hit the road. And I was like, man, I don't got no money. I'm supposed to go back to school. And I was like, you know what? Let me just go home right now. This isn't gonna work out. So let me just go home, get my money together, come back, and I'll get it together. So that's what I did. I came back home, and well, obviously I stopped smoking, I stopped drinking because my parents it's a big no for them.
Yeah.
And I remember one time I got upset. I was talking to a friend, and we just got into it, and I got really upset, like really, really down, because they were just saying some really messed up things to me. So I really got down, and I remember I was like, let me go for a drive. And I went to Sheetz to put in gas, and I was passing the beer cave to go to the restroom. And on my way out, I was just looking at that beer, and I was like, let me have one. So I went and I picked up some 6-pack, and I went to the park, and I was like, I can't, because there ain't no way I could take this home. So I picked it up, went to the park, and I just started to drink. And there was like a baseball game and things around, so I'm like, hopefully there's no cops. So I'm like, because I'm gonna get in trouble. I had like maybe about 2 beers in me, and I was starting to like feel a little tipsy. So I was like, but because I'm so heavy on not drinking and driving, like that is something that I don't care what situation I'm not gonna do that. I'm very against it. I was just like, you know what? Let me just go home, because I'm like, I can't be drinking and driving. It's not like I can call somebody to tell me, hey, come pick me up, because if I go home like this,
yeah,
I'm gonna get kicked out. So I was like, you know what? Oh well, I'm gonna have to just do something else. But I didn't want to go to God. I didn't, because I didn't want to. I knew I didn't want to stop doing that, and I knew that wasn't good for me. I knew what I was doing wasn't, the best.
It wasn't the right thing.
Yeah, it wasn't the right thing, and I've always been told it's worse to, live that lifestyle where you are living the 2 lives, where you're mixing it in. And I was like, I don't want to do that, so let me just choose this lifestyle then, because right now I don't want to do that. I'm like, I'll do that when I'm better, when I'm older, when I have kids and I want to raise them right, I'll do it then.
And how about if God comes tomorrow, right?
Exactly.
That's what a lot of people don't realize, that it can't be like, oh, let me wait, let me live a little bit of my life, and then Jesus. No.
No, it does not work that way.
Because the devil comes to kill.
Exactly.
Killed. What is it? It's 3. Oh my! I've been thinking about it the whole time. Kill, steal, and destroy. And I see that like in your life, like, and I'm so glad that that you were directed in the right path, like.
Oh yeah.
At a very young age too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because after that, actually, I found out a guy that I went to high school with, he started to sell weed, and he started to sell the carts, and those have absolutely no smell. So I was just like, I could do this, because I'm like, it has no smell, it doesn't leave like really a smoke effect that much. I'm like, I could do this, let me do it. And that's exactly what I started to do. So it got to the point to where I was high every day. I would wake up, change, go to on my way to work, get my pen, start smoking it. There was not a sober moment in that day for like a month. I did not have a sober moment. It was from waking up to sleeping. Like I would start to fall asleep like around 8 o'clock. I would get home, and because I was high, I would just go eat, and then I would go to my bed, and after I would lay down on my bed, I was just knocked out, and then same thing over and over.
Routine.
And even one of my coworkers have noticed. He was just like, I don't like it when you're high. You're very quiet. He was like, I like it when you're not smoking, because he was like, you're so happy, you're so energetic, you're talkative, you talk to people, you talk to me, and things like that. And I was just
that's the stealing I talked about.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
He steals your joy.
He really does.
People notice it, and that's a good sign when people notice it, because you start to like.
Yeah, that was kind of a wake up call when you told me that. Because I was just like. Well, I mean, I'm still happy, I guess.
in quotations, I
guess. I guess. But I'm like, I still couldn't have that sober moment. It got back to where I just felt like, I was like, dang, man, this is bad. And it was also affecting my work, because even my supervisor, he pulled me aside and he was just like, what's going on? You started here, you were motivated. He was like, remember you were really motivated. He was like, I really had high hopes for you. What's going on? You're not doing the best right now. He was like, you always want to leave early. You be coming in late sometimes. He was like, even one day you just didn't show up. You didn't give us nothing or anything. Like, what's going on? I was just like, man, I don't know. I don't know. And that was another wake up call where it's like, I need to get it together, but I couldn't stop. And then eventually I was like, you know what? All right, I'm going to get it together. I'm gonna start working out, because I had gained a lot of weight. I was in Texas, you know, everything big in Texas. So Ruby got big in Texas
That
too.
food, I always tell my husband, I do not want to move there because
yeah.
no want tener dientes, and I'm gonna be
It was. Oh yeah, there was.
Happy but no teeth.
Oh yeah, taco stop in every corner. Oh man, I love that.
No, the candies, the chamoy stuff.
Oh,
that kills your teeth, girl.
The good thing is I'm not big on candy.
Oh,
So
I am.
I'm big on
that's why I
food.
say I wouldn't have teeth anymore.
but yeah.
Sorry.
You're fine. But yeah, so then I was like, all right, I'm gonna get it together. So I started to, you know, wake up earlier, doing my routine. I was like, you know, I'll just smoke like once a day. When I'm stressed, I'll do it. I'm like, but I'm not ready to go to God yet. So I was like, you know what, let me just calm down on this. God said no, because the very next day, I went to work. I was good. I was like, I'm getting it together. I actually broke my hand at work. So, I broke my hand. So I was forced to literally just stay still. I couldn't even do it. The doctor said I couldn't even do a squat if I wanted to.
Wow, because you broke your hand?
Because I broke my hand. Mm-hmm.
Your left hand?
Yes, this one right here.
Oh,
so
wow.
I was like, crap. Okay, well, I can't go to work.
I think that's the hand that God holds you with. No, wait.
Is it right?
It's already con su diestra, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, that was like, hey, I got you.
Yeah, so I had to sit tight, and that I couldn't ride my bike. I tried to even go for runs. The movement was hurting my hand, and I was just like, crap, I can't do nothing. I literally had to sit, like, just stay still.
Be still, says the Lord.
So I was still, and I was still for a little bit, but I was just like, you know what, I can't do this. I gotta have something in me. So again, I started vaping, and it was for about a week straight. I started again back to the high, 24/7. As long as I was awake, I was high. And I remember one time, well, I went to breakfast. Well, like, I invited my mom to breakfast, and my mom was like, "You want to come with me?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." So we had planned it throughout the week, and remember that morning I woke up, I was feeling good, but then again, overthinking got to me, and I felt bad. I was like, ugh. And so I went for a walk, and I was just thinking about my life, and I'm just like, you know what, I don't feel it. Like, honestly, I just want to get high. I'm like, let me just tell my mom that. No.
That was your getaway.
Yeah, that was my getaway. And I was just like, let me tell my mom, no. And then on my way, and then I was like, you ready? You're gonna get ready? And I'm just like, yeah, okay. I was like, okay, yeah, sure, why not? I was like, you know what? I was like, at the end of the day, you know what? I'm gonna get some free breakfast. And it's gonna be good. Why not? Why not?
That food brings you in.
Uh-huh. And I'm very glad that I went, because that breakfast, you know, Erica was there, my other cousin Larita, and my cousin Laura, and they were there. And usually when they're there, it's usually always a really nice spiritual talk, which is something which is why I kind of wanted to go, but at the same time was kind of holding back, because I was like, I don't want to listen to that right now. And I was like, you know what? If they start talking, I'll just, you know, head out, play with the kids or something. I don't know.
You thought,
I thought, exactly, because, you know, they were talking, and I sat there and I just listened, and I started to tear up, because I was like, I really, really gotta stop doing what I'm doing. They were really motivating me, and I was just starting to kind of tear up, and I'm just like, oh man, like, I don't like crying in front of people. And I was just like trying to tear up, and I'm like, whew, I gotta get it together. And then I remember I was on my way, I told my mom, I was like, man, I'm really glad I came out, like, because to be honest with you, I didn't want to come out, like, but I'm really glad, because I'm like, this kind of motivated me to want to grow in every aspect of my life. Because I remember when I was sitting at the breakfast, I texted my boyfriend, and I was just like, right now, I'm glad I came to this breakfast, because I'm about to grow in every aspect of my life. I'm like I feel it. I'm like, I'm not right. I got very hyped, and I did not let that hype or motivation go. I did not. I was like, I held on to it, and I was like, don't let this go. I remember I was praying on my way home silently, and I was just like, don't, like, God, like, keep this in me. Like, don't let me let it go. Please let me hold on to it. Give me the strength to hold on to this, because I feel very good. I feel alive. I feel like how I used to be, how I when I used to serve. I like it's an amazing feeling, you know.
You switch the earthly high for the heavenly high.
Exactly.
Have you ever heard that?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what I tell. That's what I tell. Well, I say spiritual high.
Yeah, spiritual high.
Because it's like it's just the best feeling.
Yes,
It really
the Holy
is.
Spirit, that it transports you, like it takes you to like a different you, like a better you. You
Exactly.
know? Like, it feels really good.
It does. I wake up and I'm thankful for the day. I'm able to be appreciative of every little thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then back then I was always angry. I was kind of negative. I was kind of like, get out my face. You know, like if I'm not high, you better get out, because I ain't gonna want to be around you. And
stole your joy.
it really did. It
Got
did.
it back.
Yeah, I mean, that moment on, that will of wanting to change, I didn't let it go, and ever since then, like that, I remember that first week, I was just like, that night actually, I remember I was up and down the street, just probably looking like a crazy person, because I just had my headphones in, listening to some worship music, and I was just like going at it, just worshiping, because I was like, man, I don't know, it's just like a feeling that I hadn't had in a long time.
Like you felt really
Yeah, I probably did look like a crazy person, but I'm like, I don't care, because
and we all look crazy. For
Mhm.
Jesus, we all look crazy. I wrote that in my book the other day.
honestly, 'cause-
Yeah.
but it was the best feeling to just be able to worship Him and have that happiness again. Because for the longest, I wasn't like, I would go to church on the Sunday still, and I would be like, and I was just like, but I know I'm not gonna quit, so let me just sit still. And it was like, I remember I've been going to church, and I've actually been able to worship freely. When I used to worship or like lift my hands, it was kind of forcefully. Now I just do it like freely. I just do it like with the will. Like it's a habit that I've always had. Like it's just something that I want to do. It's just
You
like
show your gratitude for Him, you know, taking you out of you know, the world. Oh my God, no, do not stop me.
yeah, exactly. But because I was really lost into the world, and I see a lot of people, they're like, oh, but it's okay, you know, you're still young, live your life. And I was like, that is not living my life.
No.
I'm sitting on the couch having to have drugs
Control your life.
Yeah. Just to make me feel better. I'm like, that is not living my life. I'm like, I used to be, I was living my life going, you know, for a nice drive, enjoying the sunset, enjoying being like, thank you, God, for creating this beautiful sunrise, this beautiful sunset. Thank you, God, for this beautiful view you're giving me. You know, thank you for the little things. I'm like, that is what's living my life, was being able to be happy with just something little. I'm like, I needed drugs to be okay with things, not even happy with things, just okay with things.
Yeah, that's the lies, yeah, that we unfortunately fall. But kind of thankful for going through that stage in our lives, because it makes us grow. It makes us come stronger to Him, and you know, be able to tell people, hey, that people that are in your situation, hey, you can come out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I came out of it, you know, and it's so amazing, like at such a young age that you experienced that and you got out of it, because usually it takes like a long time for you to like open your for you to hear God's calling, because He's obviously calling you, right? So yeah, that's very nice to hear young women, you know, go through what you went through and be able to see God's hand, and you know, hold on to His hand and be like, hey, your will be done in my life, you know.
Exactly. That's something that I had always prayed for, is your will be done, your will be done. Well, I'm like, you know, I mean, I prefer to be this way, but hey, your will be done at the end of the day.
We have to die. Our flesh has to literally die. So we're not out here to do what we want, you know, because like we said earlier when we first started, this is not our story, it's His story. We're just vessels. We're just like a little part in His glorification. Like He's literally writing the story, you know, and it's we're in it to glorify His name, and you know, that's what matters the most. And so and you have anything I'd like to to say to the viewers?
Well, to the
Like
viewers,
to encourage them?
yeah.
or-
I mean, if you know somebody who's going through a situation like that, keep them in your prayers always. You know, I honestly believe that especially my mom's prayers kept me out from the hardcore drugs, from those pills and everything like that. You know, just keep praying for them, if you are in the situation yourself, I encourage you, just if you don't know a church to go to, or if you're scared because of the whole virus thing, just go online, look for a preaching, and it's just, it starts with just you wanting to do something, just even if you don't want to do it, just put the effort in doing it, because that one little video or that one little preaching, one little song or even can just change your whole life and for the better. It's an amazing, honestly, it's an amazing feeling to be able to be back with God and just be able to worship Him and be grateful for everything that He's done for me.
Yeah, it starts with a relationship with Jesus, because to get to heaven you have to go through Jesus. So make Jesus your best friend, like for real, like your best friend, and He will light the way for you to get out of that darkness or however, or that trapment. I mean, however you feel, there's different feelings that we go through, and He can literally break through all of those, because He's God. So we thank you for joining us today, and we will see you next Saturday at 8 o'clock. God bless.